Hello, it's Jennifer Harding Marlin coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica. This video is going to talk about life in Costa Rica and some of the pros and cons to living in Costa Rica. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the mountains here where I am. I'm in a small town called Atenas, Costa Rica. So as you can see behind me, there are lots of beautiful mountains. And so Costa Rica is a country that is very mountainous. There's also the beach surrounded by the ocean. There's lots of rivers and wildlife, monkeys, sloths, you name it. It's very, very rich in wildlife. So that's one of the advantages to being in Costa Rica, is that it's just an absolutely beautiful country. And so the main language spoken is Spanish, although English is widely spoken as well. So there's lots of people, depending where you go, that speak English. Local people learn English in school, as well as there's a lot of tourism, which is English-based, as well as expats that live here that speak English. And so one of the things that I love about Costa Rica, its country is really based heavily on agriculture. So there's lots of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables wherever you go. So if you go to a local restaurant, you can order piña or watermelon juice or strawberry juice or any type of local produce, and you get fresh produce. Gallo pinto, which is a dish of rice and beans, is a very popular dish in Costa Rica, and I actually had friends come by this morning and to drop off gallo pinto and fresh juice. So if you come to Costa Rica, you might want to try the local cuisine, which includes gallo pinto, which is very popular for breakfast. So there's lots of activities to do in Costa Rica. Surfing is really big, so there are a lot of top surfers and people that train for surfing competitions around the world will come to Costa Rica. Over the weekend I went to, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, but Estillos Beach, which is near Jaco Beach, which is near Hermosa Beach, and so a lot of people will surf at Jaco Beach or Hermosa, which Hermosa is known to have bigger waves, so there's lots of different surfing areas in Costa Rica. There's a lot of outdoor hiking opportunities, there's zip lining, there's bird watching and activities. If you're in a town like where I am right now, there's a swimming pool that's located nearby, there's a basketball courts, people are playing soccer. There's lots of activities similar to how there would be in Canada and the United States. Two popular areas which I highly recommend visiting if you come to Costa Rica is Manuel Antonio National Park. So it has a really nice beach area, as well as lots of wildlife that you can see, as well as the Reno volcano. So there's a lot of zip lining and other activities around here, which include natural hot springs from the volcano. So there's Spa Baldi, for example. So these are just some of the things that you can do in Costa Rica. The economy is based, as I said before, on agriculture. Tourism is also really big, as well as technology. So a lot of companies like IBM, Microsoft, Intel, Amazon, they are based in the free zone or have a setup in the free zone here for tax purposes, as well as Costa Rica has a very educated workforce. So a lot of people have a high level of professionalism, so a lot of call centers will be based here in Costa Rica, for example. As well, which is interesting, is if you are to earn your money locally, there's taxation, but if you are a resident of Costa Rica and make your income outside the country, there's no tax on worldwide income. So there are tax advantages to relocating and being a resident of Costa Rica. A lot of our clients decide sometimes to do citizenship by investment, as well as do residency and become a resident of a country like Costa Rica, for example. I can do another video about Panama, which is another popular option for residency, and a lot of people would travel between Costa Rica and Panama, so we have a lot of people that are based here in Costa Rica. And so the education system, like I've mentioned, is very relatively top-notch. A lot of people have a high literacy rate. There's lots of different university opportunities, so some people will come here for university for medical, veterinarian, as well as business schools. Right now, from talking with other people, they're really proud of the current president and the direction that the country is going in terms of development. So the current president is formerly worked at the World Bank and has a very business background, and so people seem to be relatively happy with the direction that the country is going in so far from the people that I've spoken to. And another thing that I forgot to mention was that Costa Rica has a free trade agreement with the United States as well as with China. And so A lot of people will buy goods from China. They'll be assembled here in Costa Rica before being exported to the United States. So this is something interesting as well. So to summarize more the pros and cons of living in Costa Rica, I would say that one of the pros is, again, like the natural beauty of Costa Rica, just being able to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and be in nature and be, breathe fresh air is something really what I consider advantageous. Another advantage, which can also be a disadvantage, is the Pura Vida lifestyle. So it's more of the slogan, the way of life. It's a pure life. So what this means is that sometimes if you have a business meeting or you're going to meet with friends, they might not be there on time, or they might not show up at all if something else better occurs, or they just don't feel like it. So for example, the other night I wanted to go to dinner with friends. We had agreed to 7:15. And they didn't show up until an hour later, 8:15. It was like Costa Rican time. So it's just like this Pura Vida, loving life, or at least my interpretation of what Pura Vida is, loving life type of mentality, which is an advantage, but sometimes if you're not used to it, it can be a disadvantage. As well, I just think the friendly people, the atmosphere, as well as the tax advantages. If you are someone that works in a technology field and you make your money online, this could be advantageous to be based in Costa Rica. And so the disadvantages, I would say, is the cost of living is really high. So some people anticipate that the cost of living will be lower because it's Costa Rica. And this isn't the case. I'd say it's on par to the United States and Canada, and it's relatively expensive to live. Another con is, like, again, everything's in Spanish. So if you don't speak Spanish, you might not be able to access being able to speak with everyone that you want to be able to talk to, or you might not understand everything while being in the country. So it's a disadvantage. Trying to think of other disadvantages. I really enjoy Costa Rica. It's a country that I have spent quite a bit of time in, and I've traveled throughout Costa Rica. I'm really right now based in a small town called Atenas, Costa Rica. And what's one of the things that I think people don't consider when they move to Costa Rica is a lot of people are attracted to moving to the beach or moving to a beach town. They've always wanted to live on the side of the ocean. But Costa Rica is really hot, and especially during the summer, the beaches can be very, very hot in Costa Rica. So sometimes you may want to consider living in the mountains where it's cooler and there's microclimate. For example, Atenas is a very, very small town, so it's probably not attractive to a lot of people or most people, but it does have a microclimate, so it has a really, really nice climate. It's never too hot or never too cold. So this is something to consider. And overall, I would say if you're interested in exploring Costa Rica, it's a really great, relatively safe country, and you might want to consider experiencing traveling throughout the country as well as living in different areas, for example, living by the side of the water, by the ocean, and or living in the mountains, and seeing what option you prefer. Costa Rica does not have a citizenship by investment program, but it does have residency by investment options, so you can become a resident of Costa Rica. And so a lot of our clients are interested in doing citizenship by investment, gaining a second passport, but also having the option to become resident of a beautiful country like Costa Rica. And so this is something that you may want to consider. All the best. Bye for now. Bye.